this is where I have decided, with the portal to Alfheim open, it's about time to trade with the elves. But at the same time, I was like, what are these new little bits of information that the elves have taught me? And so I'm sitting here looking at all the little plants that I could probably make. Realized that I had no idea what this dandelion plant thing could do. And I'm like, okay, so there's some giant game in a 25 by 25 square, I guess, that's supposed to take place with it. I'm not entirely sure how it works, so I was like, okay, screw this, I give up on that, that's so much work. After that, I look at the next one, and I'm like, oh my god, this is actually one that eats cake. I thought that the Gourmet Alice would have done that. But it's like, nope, no cake for you. And I was like, aw, dang it. You know, because that's why I had placed that original giant cake down. Then I realized, oh, this is a new plant. This plant here, the Rufilus, or whatever it is, it actually eats, I believe, dying plants or dead plants or something to that effect. Actually, I think it eats the plants themselves. For instance, the day blooms and the night shades and stuff like that. And I was like, aw, heck no, I don't even want this plant. I was hoping to be able to get a plant that was like Daybloom and Nightshade all at once I had managed to talk to the elves. But, you know, that's how this stuff goes. But at a certain point, I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna need to figure out how to get this Ritual of Gaia thing going, right? So I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna have to get... Oh, this is the other tree, also, that I was looking at, or the other plant. I was like, oh, this one eats wool, but in every color. And then here we are. This is where I start the trading process. And I'm like, I gotta trade a whole bunch of stuff, because I don't know how this is gonna work out. And I accidentally, at some point, you'll see it, I'll throw something in there, and I'll have wanted to keep it. And I'm like, really? Why you guys do that? You always gotta take advantage of people. Yes, this is why I hate elves. Entirely why I hate elves. Yeah. And then this is where I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna need more mana to keep these portals open. I guess this is how this is gonna work. Because, you know, you can only keep the portals open for as much mana as you have. And this is the other part. I was like, okay, so I got a bunch of these, and I gotta get 2 stacks. Or, not 2 stacks, but, like, 18 iron or mana bars, and then trade it for 1 piece of elementium bar. Or something to that effect. I was just kind of like, seriously? If you guys are so hurting for this stuff, why do I have to trade you double my stuff for 1 of your stuff? Didn't even make sense to me. I was like, seriously? What the heck? What the heck? I guess on a bright note, at least they went 1 for 1 with the Ender Pearl stuff, but even though it does take more power for me to create that stuff, the funny thing is like, I was sitting here thinking, if the elves have all of this power to be able to keep the portal open forever, then how come I have to, like, trade my stuff that actually takes my power to be able to open it? You know, it didn't make a whole lot of sense, and I was like, what the hell? But yeah, at a certain point I had got a message really quickly. I'm not even gonna edit that out, because yeah. I mean, it's a 10-minute video, so what are you expecting? You're like, oh my god, he's gotta edit that. No. So this is where I start realizing I have a whole bunch... Oh, yeah, that was just where I tossed in the Terra Steel. Yeah, I tossed a piece of Terra Steel inside the Elven Portal, and I'm like, I want that back. You know? It's because of the fact that, like, with the stat, or the way the game goes, if you throw 1 piece of Botania stuff in, you start throwing other stuff that's Botania in, and before you know it, you end up having to deal with, well, issues like that, because it automatically switches one thing out for the other. This is where I'm trying to get enough wood, dream wood that is, because I was like, this stuff is pretty cool, maybe I'll want to build a house out of it one day or something. I had no idea what I was thinking at the time, but, you know, it was all sorts of craziness. I was just kind of like, I need more wood. More wood. I think I get like almost 2 full stacks of this. It's kind of crazy. This is where I realized, why don't I just use the vein miner to do this? Oh yeah, and the fact that all the trees kept growing small, they were all like 3 blocks tall. So I was like, okay, let's screw this. I'm gonna fix it. So I start chopping them over here instead. Made life a little bit easier, and at least at some point I managed to get bigger trees. Like this, not that one. This one, not that one. This one? No. How about that one? A little bit bigger, but not big enough. This is the one. Yeah, that was the tree I got. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm running out of bone meal. After I ran out of bone meal, I was like, okay, screw this. I'm done. And then I realized that my witchery tree was also dead, so I was like, meh. But yeah, needless to say, this was a hell of a lot of elven trading the entire time. Back, forth, complaining about elves. Saying dwarves are much better because, yeah, it's what I do. That was where a pig managed to get himself next to the Gormanalis, and I was like, okay, I may as well just feed him to the plant that he's standing next to. Because, you know, pigs are, I think, guaranteed, if I recall it right, to drop pork. That one didn't drop anything. Or so I suspect, because of the fact that the pig had died preemptively. This is where I realized, you know, maybe what I should do is create another one of these pure daisies, because of the fact that the plants that I was getting, the, what was it called? The dreamwood from? I wasn't getting dreamwood fast enough. So I'm like, okay, here's what I could do. If I get enough dreamwood, I'll be like, bam! Yeah, this is also me trading out all the stuff to get their elementium. And here's 2 blocks of elementium. And then there's some more dreamwood. And some more. I found it funny though that if you just threw a whole bunch of it in, you had the ability to get a whole bunch of it out. So if you threw like a full stack of stuff in, you get a full stack of it out. I was like, oh my god. There we go, there's the pure daisy that I had decided to create. Forgot that I needed dirt, and then I walked back to grab it. There we go. Now this helps out, and I'm sitting here just waiting on the wood to create. Before you know it, I had more wood sitting around everywhere. It was funny though, because at a certain point I was like, okay, so I have no idea what I'm going to need from this mod pack, or this mod I should say. So I'm sitting here just trying to make as much stuff as I could trade with them. The ironic part is I had only read a couple of the pages, not realizing that there is more that I could trade with them. Yeah, which I had no idea. At least given a couple minutes or so. And so here goes the trading process. There we go. 14 ender pearls, 24 more wood. At a certain point I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to switch this up and move things from the top to the bottom. Yeah, that's kind of how it went. This is me trying to get as much of that elementium as I can, as quickly as possible, because of the fact that I had seen some of this, I think, to get the things for the Ritual of Gaia, and I was like, oh, I'm definitely gonna need this. These plants are kind of janky, though, at least from what I've noticed. The ones that eat the fire-based stuff, not like the lava one, but the ones that create the fire to create mana. And like, I'll throw like 5 things down, and the plants will be, hey, I'll eat all this. And then I realize, I threw 5 down, why is there still 2 left? This doesn't make any sense. Did it split it? Like, is that a possibility? Because, I mean, they couldn't split it. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. You know? I don't even know. It's funny, though, because I couldn't wait. I just really wanted to use the thing in the background there. Granted, that's a huge pain in the butt, too. You know? But what you gonna do? That's kind of how Thaumcraft works. Yeah. At a certain point, I do start sorting all that stuff out, though, because of the fact that I end up getting so much stuff from Alfheim. Anyway, guys, this has been a second pre-recorded message. Due to the fact... Oh, yeah, I threw the plant pizza, too. I was like, oh my god, this plant eats pizza. This plant is awesome. Like, wouldn't you like to see a Venus flytrap that ate pizza? How cool would that be? You can't tell me that wouldn't be cool. But yeah, at a certain point I lose track of time and then freak out because I'm like, oh my god, the time's up.